Ronda Rousey is said to be furious about not headlining WrestleMania 38 Night 1. Cody Rhodes opens up about meeting Triple H before his match last night, and scrapped plans from Night 1 have been revealed. More on that later on. Yes, it's Jack and Adam back again with more news. The big one is Ronda Rousey allegedly walking out ahead of last night's show. She was apparently furious on the Friday, according to Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Radio.
Yeah, she allegedly found out that she wasn't going to be main eventing night 1. Alvarez saying Ronda thought that she was going on last. She wasn't. The Kevin Owens show was going on last. I mean, if this is true, and take this with a grain of salt, Ronda Rousey has responded. We'll get to that in just a moment. Has she not been reading the reports up to now?
Yeah,
like Kevin Owens alluded to Owens' show going on last as well on Raw, didn't he?
I think he did, and apparently this happened on Friday, again, reportedly. Now, he did theorize, Alvarez, a bit later on that she might not have known. It's maybe not a case of her going, I should go on last, even though it's Steve Austin in Texas. But, I mean, you'd like to think she didn't know that was the case.
Yeah, you would. Apparently, yeah, she walked out before the Hall of Fame. He said, one person who knows her, so I presume this is true, said she was so mad Friday that she walked out, so she wasn't at the Hall of Fame. Cooler heads prevailed, I guess, and she showed up today, as in yesterday. She was angry that they did not go on last. Ronda Rousey has since responded on Twitter, tweeting, I don't know where these reports come from, but it was an absolute honor to perform under Steve Austin at WrestleMania in Texas. I wasn't at the Hall of Fame because I was a 6-month-old baby. 6-month-old baby I had to put to sleep early. People are literally creating drama out of thin air. So, I mean, believe who you want to believe with this sort of thing. I think with the majority of wrestling journalism, you do have to take it with a pinch of salt. And it's good that Rousey has responded there. It was certainly the right call for Austin and Owens to go on last because they under-promised and over-delivered.
Yes.
And it's Austin, and it's Texas. And, let's face it, Charlotte and Rousey was one of the worst matches of the night. I'm not saying it was bad, but it wasn't one of the better ones.
It was a good night of wrestling, and that wasn't one of the matches you'd consider to be one of the best of the night. But also imagine how, if this had been reversed and they'd gone on last, the crowd would have been spent. They wouldn't have had anything left to cheer for. It wouldn't have worked.
Especially with Rousey and Flair, who I feel horrible saying this, but two fairly unlikable women. No, come on. I was saying yesterday during the stream, it's like, I don't know who I'm meant to be rooting for here. I know Rousey's the babyface allegedly, but like with all the things that she has said about wrestling fans in the past, I think people are struggling to warm to her. So yeah, and you know what? That probably feeds into this as well. People have been really, really quick to jump on her for this without knowing if it's necessarily true. Maybe we'll find out more. Maybe we won't. But as I say, that Ronda Rousey has responded there.
Yes. Moving on now to Cody Rhodes. The other big story of night 1 was, of course, his return to WWE facing Seth Rollins. He answered questions from the media after the show, ahead of today's show, and had a lot of things to say about various different things. On Vince McMahon, he told Denise Salcedo there was an emotional story about Vince supporting his family when they went through a rough time financially. He said that 95% of the conversations he's had with Vince have been about his daughter, and that the pitch Vince gave him was good, and whilst the money is good, it's not about that, he says, because in wrestling, everyone pays good right now.
Obviously, he didn't talk to Impact. No, you know what? This isn't the first time we've heard stories about Vince McMahon supporting people financially away from wrestling. And it's clear, I mean, obviously, Cody's back there. There's no bad blood. After everything that Cody has said on a national TV show and everything like that. And it's really nice to hear. He seemed very, very happy from what I saw in this media scrum.
He did. He spoke about a number of other things as well. He even touched upon or alluded to working as an EVP, saying, I don't think I want a management job in wrestling again. I don't think I was mature enough for it.
That's really admirable.
Honest. Yeah,
that's
honest,
really, really cool of him to say. We don't know what happened behind the scenes there. It doesn't sound like it was fun for at least the last 6 months of Cody's time in AEW. But for him to come out and say that, knowing it's going to get reported on, like to the media, I think that's really cool of him.
Yeah, and I'm looking back, I'm glad, because it was a rough last few months for Cody, storyline-wise and crowd reaction-wise in AEW. I'm glad he had that last big match with Sammy Guevara, with the big cutter off the ladder and everything. He had one last cool moment to go out on in AEW. And
he had so many, didn't he, as well? Yeah. Like, he really put the effort in while he was there. I'm sure he'll continue to do so in the Fed.
He said also he can't wait to work with the WWE writers, saying, I'll probably lie to their face. Yeah, sounds great. The one word I've always used because obviously we've worked with Cody in the past, and the one word I use to describe him whenever someone asks what he's like, I say he's disarming. He'll just come out with something brutally honest, and you'll be like, "Is he joking? What does he mean?"
Yeah, he's very human, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? Like some of the people that we worked with, their personas were at the forefront, but Cody, he just seemed like a guy, didn't he? He was really nice.
I remember when we were in Japan, I was in Japan with Sam and Richard, and we bumped into him in the lobby of a hotel, and he was getting crowded by fans and everything. And I heard one person say to him, "Good luck with that new promotion you're starting." And he went, "Thanks, could be horrible." just stuff like that. It's very bizarre.
He used to take the piss out of me because where I was doing the thing where I was pretending to be a wrestler, it was like AJ Hazard thing, and all the photos I was doing the wrestler pose, and he used to rinse me for it.
He also said that it's currently a little too hard for him to walk into the performance center, I guess because Dusty Rhodes was such a big part of that facility and setting it up and running it.
And especially now it's changed so much as well. Like you've got the Dusty statue in there, and you've got a load of Dusty merch on the shelves. I can totally understand that. A really nice tribute yesterday with a bionic elbow, by the way. I thought that was a lovely touch.
Yes. He also said, Cody again during this media scrum said, seeing Triple H last night made him choke up. Well, he choked up talking about his reunion with Triple H and said a lot of people came to see him, but Triple H was the last guy to come into his trailer before the match, and it made him emotional. He says that Triple H has always been his favorite wrestler, something he said on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been great seeing Triple H pop up occasionally around this week because we were all worried about him and would we see him again. He came out on NXT after Ciampa's match. He was at the Hall of Fame. Undertaker paid tribute to him as well, and now Cody as well. It's a very sad situation, but it's great to see now finally Triple H getting the love he now deserves, I think.
Yeah, I'm certainly no doctor, but he's looking well, isn't he? And the times that we've seen him on camera, he's looking well. And we've heard him speak and do the odd bit, like with the Undertaker statue unveiling, and he seems well from what I can tell.
At the end of WWE recently put out a behind the scenes. It was similar to the Hardy Boys one at WrestleMania 33, where it kind of has footage of Cody hiding away in the bowels of the arena before, and then after the match he's talking a bit and he says, "Yep, really looking forward to it. Time to play the game. Oh, ready to play the game or something like that."
Yeah, I saw that. This the 24 documentary that they all have produced, or sort of filmed at least over this WrestleMania weekend, is going to be, might be the best ever.
It could potentially be. Also, there were some scrapped plans from night one. We've already reported on, and many people have reported on, the match that was cut from night one, the New Day versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. But something else that was apparently cut was Drew McIntyre's special entrance. Mike J. Wilson shared a photo of a group of like Scottish kilted warriors, all with swords, who you guess would come out with Drew McIntyre during his entrance, and it just didn't happen.
Isn't that just the NXT UK roster?
I genuinely thought that when I saw it. I was like, "There's Mark Coffey there. What's he doing?" But yeah. One of the kilted warriors in question apparently went on Twitter, then said that they'd been given Mania All-Access passes, and when asked about the scrapped entrance, said, "We were going to be a part of Drew McIntyre's entrance, but they couldn't plan it in enough time, so they had to scrap it."
That's a shame. You know what? Yeah. I was way into that more into the match than I really thought I would be, and the it was also better than it had any right to be. What do you think, just before we finish up, what do you think about Drew being the first one to kick out on the main roster of Corbin's finish?
I think that's fine. Honestly, when I was watching it, Fraser and Owen and Luke, who I was watching it with, all went, "That's the first time anyone's ever kicked out." I didn't even realize.
Did you not?
No,
most protected finisher in the biz. That
one of the later matches, when I think it was the Seth Cody one, when they were kicking out of everything, I was like, "Just hit him with the end of days." No one kicks out. No one kicks out the end of days.
They do now.
Yes,
they do now. Anyway, we will be back with plenty more content. You can join me for live reactions at 11. What happened at? Up shortly after, and then we got WTF tomorrow morning. You've also got your live review show tomorrow at 3 p.m. and then edited reactions as well in the evening. There's a lot going on. Oh, and then I'm doing Raw after Mania. Yeah, I love WrestleMania.
Thanks very much, everybody. Check back for all that exciting content and leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. We'll see you very soon.
Buy the merch.